The long historic battle and the much awaited war has finally come to an end through the 106th Amendment Act, also known as Nari Shakti Vandana Adhiniyam Act 2023. This has initially started as 128th Constitution Bill, but after successfully passing in the Parliament, it is converted into 106th Amendment Act. So, this Amendment Act has brought changes within the Constitution in the Articles of 330A to provide 33% women reservation in Lok Sabha seats in legislative assemblies of states in the Union Territory of Delhi and a sunset clause to make this reservation active for 15 years initially and later that can be obviously extended. These articles actually come under part 16 of the constitution that provides special provisions to weaker sections like SC/ST women reservation as such. So this is a historic bill that got successfully passed. But what about the implementation? The implementation is to begin after the first census when this act got into effect, in the sense when this act got passed, like the bill got passed and it became an act. That means post 2023 the first census would be held in 2026. Now it's going on and the elections would be in 2029, but by then the census report wouldn't be ready, so it would fall in 2034 elections where actually the women reservation comes into force. But this is not a easy way. It is a long process to go ahead. Okay, let's assume this historic battle actually had been happening for almost 3 decades for now, because it began in 1996 and today it's 2026, but still its implementation is not yet effective. But we have to applaud the reservation that is available in the local body systems, Panchayati Raj institutions. Due to the 73rd, 74th Amendment Act 1992, we can observe in local body elections like village sarpanch, we have around 50% reservation topped by Bihar, the state which initially started this one. And of course, furthermore, northern states are there, and the highest reservation today, more than 50% cap for women, especially in local body elections, is being handled by Uttarakhand. And of course, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana, like almost more than 18 states are there which are implementing successfully women reservation beyond 50% as well, but not within legislative assemblies and the parliamentarians. You can observe a lot of committees have come place to actually assess the status of women in India, like Margaret Committee, Mukherjee Committee. These have been giving out reports, submitting the ground realities that only 15% of parliamentarians are only women, and the rest are all the voice of women is neglected, and 9% only women representing the state legislative assemblies. So, where the issue lies? The ground implementation. Okay, so for implementing it effectively, our current government has come up with 131st Amendment Bill, wherein we need not necessarily wait till 2034 elections, but right here in the upcoming 2029 elections, women reservation would be handled. But based on which population, I mean which proportion of seats? 33% on the current reservation of 545 seats, or within the state legislative assemblies like in Andhra Pradesh 175 MLAs are there. Is this the way how it is going to happen? So even this was not actually agreed upon. Rather, they have actually come up with the number of seats based on 2011 census. Okay, so what exactly is this census? Generally that census is used to just get a complete population demographics of a country. So our current election scenarios are happening based on 1971 population census only, because of the family control planning initiatives during emergency period. As such, the population demographics have changed drastically among northern states and southern states, and there is a huge divide between the number of MLAs or MPs that are representing in the legislative assemblies and in the parliament. So, to avoid these discrepancies, it is recommended to keep up with the 1971 census only. And of course, with the 84th Amendment Act 2001, a change has come up to freeze the census, and of course the delimitation exercise. As such, everything that must be handled only after 2026. To freeze it, post 2026 only, the census would be taking place and the delimitation exercise would be taking place. So let me first tell you the difference between what exactly the census comes up with and the delimitation exercise comes up with. So census, as we know, only population of particular area. Post census is the delimitation exercise. So we had to stick with 1971 census only, and the delimitation exercise also correspondingly, because the number of MLA seats or MP seats are also based on this 1971 census only. Okay, wait, but I do hear in news that delimitation exercise to 2001 is there, and in Jammu and Kashmir, after revocation of that Article 370 delimitation exercise, as such, too many are there. What are these all confusions about? Okay, so to get into a great explanation in detail, let me take an example of the Republic had president election. We know president election takes place with the electoral college of MPs from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, of course, only elected, and MLAs from the state legislative assemblies and the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry only. So don't ask me why only Delhi and Puducherry. We have Jammu and Kashmir also with the legislative assembly, because that's how it is mentioned in Article 54 and also in the President and Vice President Election Act. Okay, so those are all like the grounds that were previously established. Okay, now coming to this one, president election, this electoral college. The president is elected by proportional representative system and single transferable vote. So what is this meant by? Proportional representation system is all about the vote value of these electors. Of course, the president election should be proposed by 50 electors and then supported by another more 50 electors. Now, what is this vote value? Vote value in the sense proportional representation system. That means in proportion, on a fair representation, the vote value for each elected member, be it MLA or MP, they will be voting the president to indirectly elect through the people, indirectly electing our Republican head of Indian democracy. So, what is the vote value of MLA? And of course, single transferable vote in the sense they will be voting to rank the presidential candidates in a preference. One, two, three, four, like two, obviously two or more president candidates would be there for contesting the election, and they would give the preference, and any person who gets less votes, he would be automatically eliminated in the second round, and his votes would be transferred to the next contesting member. So likewise, whoever remains top and wins votes by simple majority, more than 50% votes, he would be ultimately chosen as the president. Now, actually, what happens with respect to the vote value of MLA? An MLA vote value is decided on the total population of that state divided by number of MLAs and into one figure 1000 to arrive at a practical value. So let's say as per census, as this all things are going on, we are considering 1971 census only. So total population would be as per that census, and number of MLAs also would be as per that census. And of course, it is backed by the delimitation exercise, because delimitation exercise typically involves redrawing the boundaries of the let's say in a state, redrawing the boundaries of the constituencies. For suppose earlier we had around 25 lakh population in one constituency and 5 lakh population in another constituency. Okay, in 1971 census, let's assume so one MLA was representing here and one MLA was representing here, and now due to this delimitation exercise, we are just redrawing the boundaries but not actually increasing the number of MLAs that are representing each constituency. You can make an analogy with a classroom. You see, the number of students are increasing, but we are not at all increasing the number of classrooms. The classrooms are the same, that means the MLAs are the same, but we are altering the boundaries in such a way that the populations are distributed equally. So that's how the delimitation exercise takes place. So as you can see here, the population remains the same, that is as per 1971 census only. Okay, so this government actually attempted the same to implement this in an fast track manner. They have come up with the 131st amendment bill so as to propose the women reservation act to be implemented as per 2011 census, wherein the delimitation exercise would be as per 2011 census records. So 850 members of the Lok Sabha MP seats, and of course for South Indian states also they have orally told to increase the seats by 50%. Thus 170. The MPs, 25 MPs from Andhra Pradesh further would be increased. But of course every South Indian politician had this mistrust, because these were just oral confirmations but not any on record, like not anything in amendment they were mentioned, because due to family control planning, and as such you can observe the huge difference happening in Tamil Nadu's MPs count. So these were the things, so many discrepancies that are happening, and of course obviously this bill got revoked. It failed standing up by the democracy. It failed while the government tried to pass it recently by making the Women Reservation Act, telling it to be effective from April 16, 2026, and on April 17th they ventured to pass this bill with all these changes. Of course, had they been actually interested to help women prosper, they would have implemented it only as a women reservation bill without tying it with other dependencies like Union Territories Amendment Bill and the delimitation exercise based on these changes. They shouldn't be doing. Simply, they should have told the 33% reservation would be held as is. As is, that means 1971 census. So this was the major loophole, and we can, as an educated citizen, imagine the controversy that is actually cleverly maneuvered, ventured into the parliamentarian session as a bill like 131st Amendment Bill. Okay, so we can term this. We can term this. There is a term called gerrymandering, where the government, of course, obviously it is in power, so it has got all the powers to manipulate the electoral constituencies by just redrawing or altering the boundaries of the constituencies, so that in northern states BJP is in demand. So that's how they are actually trying to enter into majority at again for the next time also, through this linking up of all bills, so as to gain their majority in the upcoming 2034, sorry, 2039 elections. Okay, the real scenario can be obviously observed in 2034 elections. Let's wait till then and check what's gonna happen. Thank you.